everybody. Kevin Abergel here with your operator meetup with the JetForce. We are so happy to have our hostess with the mostest, Mr. Ken Heisinger, with us. We wanted to take a special time today to really kind of zero in on the reflections and things that we saw and learned as we are all just getting back from the Printing United Expo in Orlando that happened last week. Ken, first of all, how are you doing, man?
I'm great, Kevin. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's your show, so so technically it's a pleasure. Ken, man, we and we're just talking about it with Paul Andre. We are really seeing kind of a big rise of, I think, the world of digital embellishment and just embellishments in general. What were some of your reflections coming back from the show regarding the state of our little niche vertical that is digital embellishment? What did you see?
I think that, first of all, the attendance was out of this world. It was very difficult to actually get to see everything because we were so engaged with people that, had their mind wrapped completely around what I can do to make my product more valuable. It wasn't just, our form of embellishment, but it was foils. It was things that were printed on glass. It was anything that could take it to the next level because the options are greater than they've ever been, and people's interest in that, they seem to kind of be cherry picking. And we can get into what it is that Tactful did for that, but there was definitely an excitement around embellishment as a whole, I would say.
Yeah, I think we saw the same thing. Paul Andre, you were just telling us about some of your feedback coming back from Label Expo, which was just a couple weeks before Printing United. But what was kind of your reaction around the state of the digital embellishment industry from your experience at the show?
Yeah, what we saw going back to Label Expo September in Barcelona, we when you arrived at the booth, we were surrounded by all the major players offering digital embellishment technologies. So when it was a niche a few years ago, now it's a commodity for the printers today to have this capability in-house to bring added value here.
Yeah.
So it's not only one, huh? We are speaking about dozens of players today offering digital embellishment technology.
So I think the timing is a little bit apropos. I just put out an article yesterday saying that the dream has come true. Digital embellishment is now mainstream. Ken, tell us a little bit about the conversations you were having, because for those of you who don't know, we were kind of leading tour groups on what was called the Embellishment Tour at the show. So in conjunction with Printing United, and you see the paddle here behind me that Ken was actually using to have the groups follow. We were hopefully expecting to sell out at 15 people per tour, and we had 5 tours. And very quickly, we sold out all the 15 spots and had to go to 30, 40 people per tour. We actually ended up taking 156 people through. So we basically doubled what we thought was going to be our maximum. Ken, tell us some of the conversations that you had with some of these people who either were looking to get into embellishment for the first time or have been in embellishment and maybe looking to get a bigger machine or a faster machine or redundancy. What were some of your conversations like?
Well, first of all, I want to correct your numbers because I would say we had at least 10 people on every tour that we didn't even have the equipment to hook up to our sound system. And we had to bring them up front so that they could hear what was going on because they were like, what's with this crowd? Can I come too? We're like, well, yeah, you can come. But what was cool is they would watch the crowd as we would move through. And the reason we had it was to focus people in. Now, obviously, there were thousands and thousands of vendors there, but where Tactful came in is it's like, hey, here's people that have been doing it and doing it well for a period of time now, and not only are they doing it, they're taking it to another level, and I think that's where people were becoming more engaged, and that was where the conversations kind of took place. It was like, yeah, we know that, for instance, Konica Minolta and MGI's partnership with the Curio Shine was strong, and we can see that, and we can see the crowds around the machine. But can you tell us who else is in this space as well? Because we might not be as familiar with that. So what we did was definitely start conversations for a lot of vendors that maybe people weren't familiar with, and they learned a lot. And the products that they carried Well, here's what was interesting, right? You talk about it being mainstream now, and that's correct. Like that, the learning curve of, well, we were thinking about getting into it, but we're not quite ready. Boy, it's time to be ready if you want to be on the cutting edge of this thing, because now is when it's blossoming. You are going to be seen as a source, right? You're going to be the knowledgeable source for this type of product. And the reason that is because the products that they're showing now are blowing our mind. Like sometimes you see 3 or 4 past jobs with extra foils and some crazy looking stuff. I still argue whether or not a lot of that really super fancy stuff is profitable. But now they're doing simpler things with gems or with uh, 3D droplets of varnish that give you a holographic look or a color changing look. And they're really ramping it up and ramping it up quick. So like now is the time to be getting into this because I think if you wait another 2 years before you do, you're not going to be trying to learn the technology. You're going to be trying to learn the technology and learn the advanced techniques to make the stuff look great.
Right, catching up. And I think what was kind of fun too is that we really also included wide format for the first time as a digital embellishment technology, and the stuff that they were doing, whether it be Swiss Q print, whether it be Roland with their new Demens product, it was really interesting to see how much tactility was becoming front and center when it comes to print. I thought that was really, really interesting.
I think we all might look a little silly, but the thought of a complete wall graphic on a conference or on a wall in an important building or a sports venue now becoming something you want to touch. Like I can see the basketball, it's shimmering, it actually looks like leather, or you're getting an embossed effect on a wall. We're all going to look a little silly touching a wall, but I think shortly that's going to be the case because this stuff was out of this world.
Yeah,
Um,
so I
it,
agree.
it it got everybody's attention, and to walk them, they had wall samples of this stuff, and people would go up and touch it and get intimate with it. So I didn't even see it going there, but it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so Paul Andres, just so you know, there's a lot of these wide format technologies that we saw that were applying the same kind of effects that you get off of a JetVarnish, but to like wallpaper,
Okay,
to car wraps. So
okay.
imagine embellishing your car, imagine embellishing your wall, and imagine embellishing. So these applications are totally different. Even like they were embellishing like clothes, like you were seeing T-shirts that had gold foil on it. You had T-shirts that had raised effects on it. You had so what we're saying is like the umbrella for digital embellishment is starting to really explode because a lot of these other manufacturers in different spaces where we're not talking about cut sheet or we're not talking about labels are starting to understand this is a big thing now.
Yeah.
So really interesting to me was really that the white format aspect to it. I thought it was really kind of cool, the clothing apparel aspect of the whole thing as well.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the other big thing to mention, as far as Print United in particular, is when we all started in embellishment, we learned the machine. We had a pre-press guy or some design team people that just kind of grabbed it, went with it, and built it on their own. They experimented, they tried things, they developed their own techniques to make files. What's happening now is I noticed almost every manufacturer building in a solution to help you on the backside of the machine. You're having workflow solutions from big manufacturers that can streamline the design process. Some in some instances, and especially tactiles, can even suggest what should be embellished on a particular printed piece. You're not left high and dry anymore. They've realized that there needs to be a complete solution, and a complete solution is existing for all the big manufacturers for sure. And they appear to be putting a lot of time and money into developing software to make this a whole lot easier for people that invest in the technology.
And you say that, and I think it's important to mention to all you JetVarnish users out there and Acurio Shine users is that there was a really interesting partnership that was on display on the Konica Minolta booth, which was between Adobe and Konica Minolta on Project Goldsmith. And so we know, that one of the biggest problems that you guys have to deal with is that when you get files that come in that were designed by somebody who basically doesn't really understand what the technology is or how to set up the files correctly, Adobe is working on a digital embellishment specific product called Goldsmith that will take your file, and no matter if it's built correctly or not, will kind of rebuild out your file so that your press can take it immediately. So it's saving you that 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 1 hour that you're spending in pre-press having to redo those files for your JetVarnish, and being able to streamline that. So I think there's no bigger marker or indication that this industry is going mainstream than when you have Adobe and all these digital embellishment booths strongly supporting the digital embellishment movement and trying to make people's lives easier, right?
And I think it's important for two reasons. One is I think it will develop better designs. Hopefully, the software gets smarter and you figure out what works well, what doesn't, what people are doing, what you can do to make it better.
Yeah.
Because as operators, we tend to get these files and go, "This is kind of silly. What are we doing? Putting varnish here, or putting a small dot of foil on a period at the end of a sentence." I think the software should kind of help
Guide.
remove those barriers that make it difficult for an operator.
Right. That's
And second of all, the other thing that's important as an operator is, especially when it comes to KM and MGI, they are becoming a partner with us that is seamless. I saw people at the booth pointing over to Tactical saying, "Hey, now if you need help, this is where you really need to go." We're working with them. We're a brain trust or expert group, whatever you want to call it, that's working together. That's usually it's so siloed. These companies do not want to work with anybody else, but they're realizing that this is gonna contribute to the success of everybody across the board, all the way from the person that buys the machine down to the operator out the door. This is going to be seamless, and it's going to be so much easier than it was when I bought a machine in 2016 and felt like I had no help. You're going to have lots of places to turn for help, and I think that's important.
Yeah, the relationship with Konica Minolta is phenomenal, and it was really cool too to have the CEO of MGI there as well. So we had Tony Charlet, the new CEO of MGI, hanging out on the Konica booth, on our booth, because we were literally like 5 feet from each other. The booths were right there, and being able to talk about what we're seeing here in the U.S. and being able to show him the trends and the players and the effects and the users and the samples and all that stuff. So it was really kind of cool to be able to hang out with Tony and to show him all the fun stuff that's going on in the US digital embellishment market. So that was fun. Okay, what else? Let's talk a little bit about our way of doing trade shows. Paul Andre, we don't believe in hotels. So we actually get Airbnbs and then we
Okay.
rent these beautiful houses, and it ends up being a lot cheaper actually, but we get our own swimming pool and kitchen. And what ends up happening is after everybody goes out and takes their customers out to dinner, everybody ends up at our house at a very high level. And so we have, executives from all the different OEMs that come, and it's kind of a really cool environment. If you're ever at a trade show, Paul Andre, you're more than welcome to hang out. And we had a couple of JetForce users that were actually coming to the house as well, and there were some debates about how to design stuff, and there was like a competition between Matt and Adam. It was really kind of cool. Like it was
Yeah,
really
they
After
started
show,
talking. They
after
started
show
talking
workshops.
about. Oh, I'm sorry. They started talking about uncoded and tricks and techniques. Like here we are, right? We're all standing around a counter, literally having a debate about what the best way is to handle an uncoded sheet, and that's crazy to be able to do that in an off-work environment, and have manufacturers there too, where they go, "Hey, wait a minute, we got a solution for that," and
and then
well, it really doesn't work. Come on, does it work? You needed to show us that. So
it,
it was
there were
killer.
some heavy, heavy, heavy hitters at our house after work, after hours. Some of them even cooked dinner for the whole team, which was really cool. But one of the coolest thing was exactly we're talking about, uncoded, and we had all these people, having a debate how to do it best. And guess who walks in? Jason Leonard from Nina Paper. And I don't know if you guys know who Nina Paper is in France, Paul Andre, but they're a really well-known paper company here. And this is the dude who invented the uncoated paper from Nina that works really well with digital embellishments.
Okay.
So, we're having this debate, and who walks in? The dude who figured out how to make paper to work with the JetVarnish to make it feel and look encoded. And the conversations that we had, what gave him the idea, how he did it, all these things. It was really, I almost feel like we should have cameras up, like in that show Big Brother, because there was so much gold and information being exchanged at those after parties around our little world. So I really enjoyed it. And if you guys are ever in town at a trade show that we're doing, and this goes for all our friends from the JetForce or MGI or Konica, you're all welcome to come over and partake. But it was really, I think, a truly magical experience to be able to have that much brain power under one roof across all these different manufacturers, these different OEMs, these designers, these people who have huge followings, and to be able to talk about it like that, I thought was really kind of a cool thing.
Looks
I,
exciting.
I think too, it has broader implications, especially for somebody like Nina who makes the classic linens, the lathes, the things like that. Because they're able to come to something like that and talk at an operator level to, hey, this is difficult for me, or this is impossible. I can't use your product, or I can and I've had success. Like it's good for both of us, right? Because they're hearing, hey man, there's just a big need for products to make an operator's life easier as we move into the future. We have got to spend more R&D to make sure that our textures and our substrates can work with the JetVarnish and like technologies. So I think it's not just about, hey, this is fun and these are cool conversations. I think that now they realize at an operator level that what they do has a really big impact on the production process.
Sure. I mean, look, Jason from Nina got to sit down with two of the probably most well-known JetVarnish operators, maybe I would say in the world, Adam Stewart from Ghost Mail and Matt Red Bear, obviously, and they were able to really have a deep, conversation around what they're looking for in a paper, what feedback that they have, and I don't know if they probably do, if Nina has the ability to have those kinds of conversations where it's like, don't tell us what we want to hear, tell us the reality of what's going on out there and have that feedback. You're absolutely correct, Ken, when you say that. I thought that was really valuable for both sides for sure. Um, all right. What else? Is there anything else that I'm forgetting to talk about here, Ken, with regards to the your Printing United recap or around digital embellishments?
No, other than I think it really showed me the importance when the people would engage me and we would have conversations about operator type issues. It was a great place to talk to people that aren't necessarily on the JetForce website.
Right.
And I think that if we could get more of them on there, we could have these conversations without having to go to a trade show. So I
Right.
just encourage anybody that sees this or anybody that knows an operator, please sign up there, because to have even a casual online texting conversation about what's happening or what they're seeing, we need to as a group take an active part in helping each other. And I know there's people on, we've asked some questions of each other, but I think it could be ramped up quite a bit more, and we could have the conversations we had at Print United um, live and more frequently. So, and
I
maybe
agree.
even if we got enough operators there, we could bring in some manufacturers and we could talk about things like that. So,
So
it's
so
definitely a thought.
So Ken, some of the feedback I got from the operators of the show was that they watch every episode of this, by the way. It's just that they don't have access to a webcam or internet on the shore floor on the shop floor,
Top one.
the floor shop, and so that's a really big thing. So we're really learning from the operator community that it's hard for them to join because they're running production and they don't have access to these online tools. So we're gonna keep making these videos. We're gonna keep doing these tutorials, keep having these discussions so that you guys can keep following afterwards. And please, ask us questions. Don't hesitate to lean into it. Ask us what we could be doing better. If there's a certain topic that you want Ken and the team to address, let us know. We're gonna continue to go after it. But I thought this was a really innovative way to kind of give everybody just You know, a lot of the members here were not able to go to Printing United, and I thought it was really important for them to kind of get that feeling that you're on the right track. The market's coming like a tidal wave. It's going to be massive. People are getting into embellishment left, right, and center. So please get ready. Whether you're new or you've been doing this for a long time, the demand is about to explode. We can feel it, we can see it, and Printing United was the confirmation. All right. Well, Ken, listen, I think we're gonna leave it there. I would like to thank you for your thoughts and comments. Paul-André, also thank you very much for your time with us today. Paul-André, do you have any final parting comments for the JetForce as we wrap up today's show?
Just that we will bring some new topics on the table, and we'll be more than happy to discuss with all the JetForce community involved people.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
All right.
All right, everybody. Great to see you. And don't forget, on Halloween, this Friday, we have the designer meetup. So everybody better go buy a costume for the actual session. I will be in costume. Matt has promised me he will not be in costume, but I'm still working with him. But if you can, try to find something funny to wear so to make some good screenshots for the JetForce. It'll be fun. Until then, everybody, thank you for your time, and we will see you on Friday.